I've sold $2.5 million in fitness programs, and today I'm going to run you through the exact sales training and sales script to use to close sales calls effortlessly for your coaching program. So, the first thing we need to keep in mind is this: a lot of the time, when it comes to sales, a lot of the people think, myself included, I used to always think sales is, someone like the Jordan Belford, someone like this kind of used car salesman who is just going to try and force you into buying something that you don't necessarily want or need, and it's trying to take someone's arm and twist it and really get a decision and really force them into sales. You think about myself, and we all kind of seem to think about Jordan Belford. We used to think about Wolf of Wall Street, Grant Cardone, this used car salesman. That's the biggest people I think about when it comes to sales. One of the biggest perspective shifts I've made, which allowed me to massively skyrocket my ability to close coaching programs, is to get away from thinking of sales like that and stop treating sales like a used car salesman, because what that does is it makes you not really close sales. It makes you not ask the right questions, not really pursue people in the right way. Instead, if we start looking at sales and your ability to close sales more like a doctor, where your job is there to just diagnose people's problem, understand where they want to go and see if you can help them, the more you start looking at sales like that, the easier it becomes for you to actually have these meaningful conversations and move people more effortlessly into closing clients. Now, with that being said, I'm going to run you through the exact sales training, the exact sales script I wish I had when I was first getting into training and when I was first getting into personal training, because this training has quite literally allowed me to close millions of dollars worth of coaching programs online, talking to strangers. So it's so powerful. It's a process and a sales kind of framework that what would be particularly helpful is when you are jumping on these sales calls and when you are jumping on kind of speaking to prospects in your messages on Zoom calls or in person, is to have a notepad and pen, write down these bullet points on that pen and paper, and then when you're speaking to people, take the call from start all the way to finish when it comes to actually moving them into a call, right? That will be the biggest game changer there. And as a byproduct from that as well, just take the call in this order, be quite fluent with it, but just make sure you get these questions answered and covered before moving into positioning your offer or talking through how it works. Because if you don't do that, people are just going to ghost you, they're going to disappear, and you're not really going to be able to close as many clients as a byproduct as well. So that's super important. In terms of the actual framework of the call, now let's dive into it. The very first thing you want to do when it comes to your sales is this. You want to just start like a normal person and just really introduce yourself. Introduce yourself and build a little bit of rapport, with the person you're speaking to. A very easy thing you can do if you're on a sales call is just say, hey, John, really nice to meet you. Where in the world are you joining me for today from? If they're joining you from another country, try and build a bit of rapport. One big mistake people make with this introduction, and I used to actually make as well, is you don't want to be introducing yourself. You don't want to be chatting to this person for 5, 10, 15 minutes of just you building rapport, because this to the prospect shows one thing. It shows you don't really value their time, and it really devalues your frame as an authority, and it makes you look quite desperate. It makes you look like you are just there to be their friend, and people don't necessarily buy from friends, they buy from experts. So don't waste a lot of time on this introduction. Literally limit this to anywhere between 2 to 3 minutes. Anything longer than that, you're just going to make people get frustrated, and you're just going to make it look like you're not really an expert and you're just there trying to build friends, and people don't buy from that. So that's the first thing here. Literally, ask how they're doing, what they do for a job, whatever it might be. Just keep it very casual, and then after that conversation, we can now move into the actual sales part of the call and the discovery part of the call, right? So the very first thing you want to do is introduce yourself. Hey, John, really nice to meet you. How are you doing today? What part in the world are you joining me today from? Whatever it might be. You can comment on their background if they have something kind of vibrant going on, whatever it might be. Once you've introduced yourself, it's such an effortless next part, but the next thing you want to do is understand where they're currently at. And this is so easy to do in this part of the conversation. So you've just connected with them. The next thing you want to do is just say, okay, so just to run you through a little bit about how the call today is going to work, I'm just going to ask you a few questions, really get to understand where you're at, where you want to go to, and then if I feel like I can help you with achieving those goals, I can run you through a little bit about how the coaching program works. Does that sound right? Is that going to sound like what you wanted to go through today? Like, and they'll say yes at this point, and after this, you can kind of go through the actual understanding where they're at right now. A very easy way you can understand their current situation is you're not there to ask them, oh, what's keeping you up at night? You know, you're not there to ask them, like, what's your biggest pain point? Like that, those kind of questions are just going to make people switch off and raise their guard. All you want to do is ask, okay, so what were you hoping we can do for you today? Like, why are you on the call today? Like, what's the goal from the call? Like, where are you at? What do you want to do? They'll kind of run through where they're currently at. What you really want to do from this is just ask, you know, what's the problem you have right now? What's holding you back? They'll tell you, and then usually they're gonna typically give you a bit of a surface level answer. So if you're selling a fitness program, you might be like, okay, why are you on a call today? What were you hoping we can do for you? They might come back and say, I wanted to lose a little bit of weight. Okay, run me through that. How much weight did you want to lose? Why did you want to lose that weight? What's the deadline for this goal? The reason this is so powerful is for a couple of reasons. The first reason this is so powerful is it gives you a deadline in mind. It gives you a way to frame your program to achieve, to help them see how they're going to solve that problem within that time frame. If they have a wedding coming up and they have a 3-month goal to achieve it, you might want to say something as simple as, you know, by the end of the 3-month program, we're going to get you we're going to get you in the best possible shape for your wedding, for example, or we're going to get you shredded for summer, you're going away to Greece. Like, that's phenomenal, but that comes at the end of the call. But it's so important to find these stuff out now so you can actually move that forward, and make sure you're writing this down as well as you go along so you can go through that at the end of the call as well. It'll be a game changer. Once you know their current situation, the biggest thing here to keep in mind with this is what you really want to be looking at doing is understand their current situation, but alongside understanding their current situation, really make sure to dive deeper into it. So ask them, you know, what's the problem? What do you want to go to? What's the problem? What are you trying to solve? And then usually go a few layers deeper. They'll give you an offer. They'll give you a goal, and they'll give you problems they want to solve. You want to go a few layers deeper. You want to go, why do you want to achieve that? Why are you struggling with that? Like, those kind of questions will just allow you to really understand them inside and out, and really make it easier when it comes to the sales part of the call as well. So that's covered in terms of current situation. The next thing you want to do, which gets really exciting on this part of the call, is you really want to understand what's their dream. Where do they want to be 3 months time? Where do they want to be 6 months time from now? What's the results they'll be extremely happy with achieving? And this is so exciting because it gets people's energy up, it gets people motivated, excited, really looking forward to the future. And it's such a game changer here, right? That will be the next part of the call. The call, for some programs in particular, people can maybe not have these big goals in mind. They might be a bit hesitant, you know, toward what they want to achieve, or they might just not really be giving themselves the full permission to achieve big things, you know. So what you want to do with the dream outcome side of the call is, even if where applicable, if you feel like people are kind of giving you goals that they're holding themselves back. So if you're selling a fitness program and you have someone that wants to lose 20 pounds and they're saying, I'll be so happy when I lose 20 pounds, but you know, I want to do it in the next year, but I don't know because I have this thing coming up and I'm super busy. If you as a coach feel like they're holding themselves back and then playing small, you can really call them out at this part of the call, and you can say, you say you want to lose 20 pounds, John, in the next 6 months or 12 months. I think you can get there in 3 months, and in the 3 months after that, we can start working towards this, and this. that you mentioned earlier. You can achieve this goal much quicker, much faster. You can go bigger. Why aren't you doing that? And that gets people's energy high, gets them really motivated for the future, which is huge. Once you've got their dream outcome, what you want to start doing now is you want to start looking at solution-based questions to start getting that person to view you as the solution. So on your notepad and pen here, you've got, I'm speaking to John. John is currently struggling because he's working a lot. He has no confidence, no energy. He's sleep deprived. He wants to get in shape because he has a holiday coming up with his wife and his kids. He's trying to train, but he's not really training well. He struggles with pain in his elbow and joints. So, okay, John, I know this about you already. Have you tried doing X, Y, Z to solve this problem? For example, works phenomenally well here. So you would already know roughly what he's not doing. So, have you tried getting some accountability in your structure to achieve that goal? Have you tried working with a coach before? Have you tried programming your training so you're not having to work out 6 times a week, but you can work out 2 times a week, do 40-minute sessions, full body, and still achieve that goal? That works incredibly well here. Just getting people to see and start thinking about the solution to achieve their goal is a really, really powerful frame change, right? And once you have those kind of few questions, what you want to do with the solution questions as well is you want to go, have you tried doing this? And you ideally want to get them to say no. If they've tried it, really diagnose why it hasn't worked in the past. And then when it comes to your offer at the end of the call, you can say, this is why this is going to work, because it's completely different to what you've tried in the past. Now at this point, you're really getting close to running through how the program works and getting them started. The next question you want to look at here before you do that is get clear on why they want to do this now. Why is now the right time for them to move forward towards achieving a goal? And here it's a very, very beautifully placed question, and a really beautiful place to put that question, because they've just told you that they're not happy, they feel miserable with XYZ, they have this big goal and big dream that they want to achieve, and you ask them why now is the right time to move that forward. What it does is one thing, it gives them no excuse but to say now, and why now is the right time. You might want to say, okay, John, so why is now the right time for you to move forward with this? It doesn't really give them much of an opportunity to say, oh, I can't really do this now because of this reason or that reason. They're going to say, I need to do this call now. I need to move forward with this now because of this and this and this reason, right? It's extremely powerful for that reason. And they're going to tell you all the reasons they want to get started with achieving this now. So they might be like, I need to get this start now because if I don't do this now, I'll never do it. Or if I don't do this now, I'll miss out on a holiday and I'll be in the worst shape of my life. And you now have the reasons, the ammunition, the tools, and the power to then position and move your call, to position your offers like they have no excuses but to move forward. When you frame your call and you frame your coaching program, they're not going to be able to say, oh, I want to start in a month's time or 2 months' time, because they've literally told you 5 minutes, 10 minutes before why now is the right time for them to move forward. Once you have this, you're getting into the saucy bit of the call, right? A very saucy bit of the call. You're looking at the promise of the call. So here you want to kind of go through a little bit more about how and what kind of results you can promise them achieving. This isn't about you guaranteeing some phenomenally crazy results that no one can sustain. This is you just kind of being very honest and transparent with them. So you might go, okay, John, so you've told me you struggle with this. You want to achieve this. Here's what we see happen within the coaching program. On average, our clients do this, this, and this. So I think for you, you can achieve, this goal in the next 3 months' time. And I promise you, as a coach, I'll lay everything out for you to do it. I'll meet you where you're at. And if we do that, and if I'll do my part, if you do your part, I can guarantee you getting those results. I can promise you achieve those results. How does that sound to you? Is that the kind of results you are looking for? And here they're going to be like, of course, I really like, that's exactly where I want to go. You really understand me. Perfect. Then you enter the next part of this. And this is the final part of the call. Once you've done this, you can go, okay, cool. Okay, John, amazing. Do you want me to run you through a little bit about how our coaching program works? Because, it sounds like I can help you achieve that. Yeah, I do. Then you go through, and I can do a separate video on this if you need to, if you haven't had this covered, so just let me know. But the last part of this call is for you to just go through your program presentation. This presentation should be no more than 90 seconds long, right? You want to go through and share your presentation. The presentation just goes through your key mechanics of your offer and your program. So you might be like, step 1, we focus on your nutrition. Step 2, we focus on your training. Step 3, we focus on your mindset, or however you position your mechanics of your program. This is some clients that have done this, and this is the results they've achieved. Is that what you need right now? He goes, yeah, it is. It's exactly what I need. Okay, amazing. Here's the investment structure for the program. Here's how much it works if you pay for 3 months. Here's how much it's for 6 months, for example. Which option do you want to go for? And on that call, you just kind of run them through the program. You run them through the price and the next steps. And then they choose how they want to get started with the program. Why it works so well to give people 2 options on that call is you shift away from having to offer them, okay, do I want to do the program or do I not want to do the program? If you just say, here's how much the program costs to do 3 months, here's how much it is for 6 months, which option do you want to go for? Or here's how much it's for 3 months, or you can pay monthly, which one do you want to go for? All of a sudden, this person is now no longer thinking about, should I do the program? Should I get started now, or should I do something else? They're now thinking about, is it this one or is it this one? Either way, you get paid and your client gets phenomenal results, and that's why this formula works so well. And this is a formula that's allowed me to close well over $2.5 million in fitness programs over the last few years as well. The only thing I haven't covered, I can do that in a separate video if you find it valuable, is the price presentation and kind of how you can position that to close more sales calls and clients. If you found this type of content helpful with a screen share and me to kind of talking you through, make sure to let me know so I can know that you want more content like this. If you want to get a free business audit for myself personally, where we deep dive into the specifics of your business and see what we need to fix, how to fix it to move your business forward and business growth forward, there will be a link to book that call in the description of the video as well. Any questions, anything you want covered in future videos, in the comments below, and make sure to hit subscribe because I'm posting content like this daily. Peace.